figured I'd take this opportunity to just have a little discussion just on my way home, finishing work at the job site in Laval. Essentially, what I wanted to talk about today was, or is, what it's like to work the hardest job in construction. And when you think of that, you think of, concrete, you think of, building roads, building bridges, skyscrapers, all of the above. You don't really think about home renos and all of that good stuff. And I'm here to talk to you today because I started out in construction. I went to university, ended up dropping out of university because it was too expensive for me, and now here I am working construction, and my job is literally, quite honestly, the hardest job there is to do in construction. I install rebar, and rebar, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially the skeleton of anything with concrete. Think of a skyscraper or condos or anything of the above, any of the above, if there's something that has concrete, 9 times out of 10 there's going to be rebar in there. Rebar is reinforcing steel. They're bars, come in ranges and varieties of sizes and weights, and there's a whole lot to it. Buildings, let's say buildings, 20-floor buildings, they have your foundation. That's where everything starts. You got your footings, you got your retaining walls, you got everything in your bases, everything to support the weight that's going to come with building high up. The columns that support the weight too. Then you have your beams. Beams are essentially columns. Instead of being standing up, they're horizontal, so they're laid down columns essentially. And yeah, I thought this would be an interesting little talk here. Apologies for my face. I'm dirty. I was doing some columns today, and it's freezing cold here in Canada, so working with gloves all the time, wiping your face, whatever, it gets right there. You don't think about it, and it just kind of gets all over your face. But yeah, back to my point. What is it like to work the hardest job in construction? In rebar, doing bridges, highways, you name it, anything with steel and iron. I'm 23 years old. I started just under a year ago in March, and now I'm closing in on my first year. What are my thoughts exactly so far as a 23-year-old in construction and still working? And honestly, I like it. I think it's a lot of information. It's very interesting to see how these engineering pieces of art, the architecture, seeing all the blueprints, everything like that. It's very cool. It's a lot to learn, and obviously in construction, it's hard to say. It's hard to learn, and there's not many people that want to teach you, because a lot of the guys, the whole idea is there's a huge shortage in manual labor, but a lot of the guys who work in construction, they're not so nice and eager to help out and give to the next generation. It's almost like they want to keep their piece of the pie, and they want to keep it for them. They don't want to share their knowledge and their experience and skills. In my case, I got pretty lucky. I got put with a foreman who I knew through my teacher in my school. I didn't know the foreman, but my teacher, before he became a teacher, he worked with this guy, and this guy took me under his wing right off the bat. Started working with him on highways, actually doing all the rebar for the highways, and he was very, very insightful, very helpful. Saw that I wanted to learn, saw that I was eager. Might not have been the best, might not have been the be all end all, phenomenal worker, but every single day I showed up on time, always minimum 30 months, my bad. Minimum 30 minutes early every single day, especially even those shifts that started at 4 a.m. in the summer. I was always 30 minutes in advance, just to sit in my car, just in case there was anything, so that I was available and ready to work. I never wanted to be late, never wanted to tarnish my name and give off the impression that I don't care and I come whenever I want, and I showed up every day. I gave my full effort. It was never easy. My first couple weeks were hell. They were brutal. And apologies, I'm right beside a fucking semi, as you can see. But it was not fun when I first started out. That's all I can say. It was very difficult. It was very tough, and I stuck with it, man. I recognized how difficult it was. I stuck with it, and then fast forward to today, 10 months later, I'm still with the same foreman in a huge company of rebar workers, and I've stuck with the same team, same foreman, same everything. I've been getting better, been learning a lot, reading blueprints, all of the above, and what can I say to somebody in my situation, my age group? I don't know, man. Honestly, I went to this job, I discovered this program from a friend, and he put me on it because he went through some struggles, financial struggles, home life struggles, and I was going through some struggles as well financially. I dropped out of university, like I mentioned, so I didn't have much money. The whole reason why I dropped out was because I couldn't afford it feasibly, and I cut the head off the chicken before anything got any worse. I didn't want to run myself more and more into debt just to get a degree in something I didn't really feel passionate about. That also brings me to, I used to be a student athlete. I played football, I played in college, I played in university, and it was tough. It was a tough pill to swallow, to quit what you love doing. But yeah, I had to drop out. It wasn't working. I had to pay for it all myself, and pressure financially was just way too much for me to bear. So I had to cut the head off the chicken, like I said, and that's how I discovered the program, the trade itself. And I was a little bit, I wouldn't say I was extremely desperate, but I was in some decently dire straits. Like I needed a solution, and a solution fast. If I wanted to live the life I wanted to live, I couldn't just sit around working a minimum wage job or working just to make 25 bucks an hour, maybe. 50 grand, that's a lot of money, especially at 23 years old. That's decent, but today's day and age, it's not feasible. And with the debt that I have from university and from college, it wasn't feasible for me to just say, oh, you know what, I'll take some time, I'll work for a couple of years and figure it out. No, like when I dropped out of university, I literally had a plan. I was like, I'm gonna apply to a trade school. What trade? I explored plumbing, I explored electrical, I explored welding, everything, you know. But ultimately, it came down to this because this was the most paying. It was the highest paying trade that you can do with the least amount of time in school. So like kind of sounds as if like I copped out and I went to where the money is, and there is some truth to that. You know, like you can't tell me I'm gonna go find something I love to do it, and bust my ass and not get paid what I need to be paid, you know, what I deserve to be paid. So I'm gonna be honest, like most of it, the reason why I chose this trade was for the money, the pay. You know, I figured if I was gonna get into construction and trades in general, I'm gonna be busting my ass. There's no question about it. So I figured, you know what? If I'm gonna go bust my ass anyways, I might as well take advantage, go towards the money. And beforehand, I had no idea about what was involved with this trade, any information whatsoever. I didn't even know what ironworkers really did, and along the way through my program and everything, I noticed myself getting better. My program was only 6 months, so imagine that. You're in dire straits, you're looking for a high-paying job, you have shit to pay, and there's not much out there for someone just starting out, you know. Like it's not you go on Indeed and you look at all the salaries and all the job postings and everything, like 90% of them are around the minimum wage pay range with no experience, you know. My program was 6 months. I learned the base fundamentals of everything to do with my job. Sure, there's tricks and skills and knowledge that you pick up on the job that help you go faster and you don't waste as much time. But I learned the fundamentals, man, in 6 months. And as soon as I got out of school, I had a job and I was paid extremely well for an apprentice, you know. So there's not much else to say about that. It is hard. It is hard work. I feel like I'm losing train of thought a little bit. I apologize for that, but I forget my last point. How I discovered it. Oh yeah, sorry. Along the way in my program, I noticed myself getting better. I was really understanding things and learning. And I was in a small class. I think my class was like 13 people. And 13 people, it gives you the option to really take advantage and learn, because you're more one-on-one with the teacher, you know. Like you're not one for one, but you have much more time with a teacher at 13 compared to like 30, you know. So I took advantage of that, and as I went through the program, and now even I notice myself, I catch myself like enjoying what I do, you know. Sometimes there is some tough days, sometimes there's some tough mornings, but you know, any job that you're gonna do is gonna have that. There's no silver lining to that. Like maybe there is, you know. I guess the silver lining is that, you know, you will have good days. You gotta take the good with the bad, and that's something that I'm still struggling with a little bit. Because when you're work, you're a workhorse, right? Your time is money, and you get lost in the sauce of thinking, oh well, I gotta get this done by this time. There's so much to think about, and you lose track of the fact that, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad. Some days might be stressful, but a lot of the days are good. They're fun. There's a lot to benefit from, and yeah, even to this day, I'm still learning. I'm still enjoying it. And this is prior. I had no experience, no nothing, no even inkling of any information or knowledge on the subject of my trade. And this is where I'm at today, and I'm continuing to learn. I also have to mention my program that I did, my trade, it was only in French. And I don't know if you can tell by my accent, but I'm extremely English. I don't speak French. So that was a little leap of faith for me. The program I wanted to go into wasn't offered in English. It was, but there wasn't enough English applicants because it was deep in the heart of Montreal. So there was not enough English applicants to start a cohort, like a class of English English program, you know? So I said, fuck it. Do I want to waste time and just wait and hope that the next class that comes, there's going to be an English class too? And I said, fuck that. You know, if I keep that kind of attitude, then I'm never going to get to where I want to go. I can't count on, you know, destiny. I can't count on it working out, you know. It's never really going to work out in your favor unless you do the work beforehand. You put in the investment. And, you know, I had the courage to say, you know what, screw it. I'm going to join this program. I'm going to sign up. And it's all in French. I went to school in Quebec, so I had base French skills. I could speak a little bit, understand pretty well. That's what my saving grace was, because I could understand everything, but my oral, my discussion abilities was not very high. So I could understand 90% of everything, but when it came to actually speaking, that's where I lacked. But I was still very nervous. I didn't like French environments. I felt like, oh, if I have any problems, I'm English, they're not going to want to help me, whatever. And I went to the school. It was all French. And the teacher that I had, he was extremely helpful. He saw that I was English, but I always tried. Every single time I had a question, I always gave the effort to at least ask in French. I tried. I gave my 150%. You know, so that's what people appreciate. And if there's any message to come out of that what I just said applies to everything in life. Like anything you do in your life, if you're not good at something, you can't just play it off like you're good at it, or you can't just be ignorant to the fact that you are bad at something or you're not good, you know. And or if you own it too much, you know, like if you're faced with a challenge and you don't have that confidence to at least try, and you show your lack of proficiency in said topic, subject, challenge, whatever, no one's going to want to help you, you know. No one's going to want to give you advice. No one's going to want to help you through it and show you how to do it if you don't know. And the same thing goes for if you act like you know everything and you try, you know. It's a very happy medium, you know. Like, you have to be very humble. You have to have the confidence to try, but don't have the ignorance where you're a know-it-all, you know. Like, if you don't know it all, you don't know it all. And you got to be open to the criticism, you know. Like, and when people say criticism, they're thinking, oh, that's such a bad word, criticize. I'm criticized, or he criticized me. It's a negative term. There's a negative connotation to it in this society. I don't know why, but criticism is not a bad word. Now we have to label it as constructive criticism for it to not be offensive. But criticism in its whole is you're critiquing, you know. you're giving your feedback on said thing, you know? So criticism is something that you should look forward to, you know, especially when you're learning something, or if you're not very good at something. You should be very excited for that criticism, so you can learn. You keep it as a point of learning, and you move on from it, and you use that knowledge that you just learned from that criticism to apply the next time you do those things. And long and behold, you're gonna have a better time doing it. There's no science to it. That's something that I hold strongly with myself. I was not good in French, but I always gave the effort and gave the try. And I made my mistakes when I was speaking, you know, like I'm not very good at speaking, so any like conjugations and the different tenses and like past, present, future, everything, I'm not great, and I know it, and I own it. But I make the effort to try, and even if I fuck it up, I still try. You know, like I'm not to the point where I'm like, shit, if I fuck this up, people are gonna think I'm dumb. Well, yes and no. You know, if you fuck something up, people are gonna think you're dumb if you didn't say beforehand you don't know how, right? So it goes in jobs, it goes in relationships, it's communication, and it's the effort, you know, like you have to try even if you're not good, but don't do it like you know it all if you don't know it all. You have to, like I said, it's a happy medium. But anyways, I guess to cap this video off, because we're pretty late here, I'm gonna insert some videos just I guess here or after I'm done talking, just about what I do. I'm currently working on a condo. I'm in foundations, so I'm 3 levels on the ground. It's a big condo. I'm working on foundation stuff, you know. I'm doing columns, I'm doing footings, I'm doing walls, all rebar and concrete, you know. So I'll show you what that looks like, so if you didn't know, then you'll have a better idea of what I'm talking about. But all I can say, it's challenging and rewarding, you know. The working the hardest job in construction, it is definitely rewarding. It comes with its challenges. It's not easy. But man, I've become a better man, I think, you know, like from where I was before as a university student to where I am now. My perception on life and my perspective in the universe, I wouldn't say it's whole, but it's totally different, you know. I still need to do some work on myself to figure out where I'm heading and what my life is about, and I'll get there, you know. That'll come in the future, but I'm a much better man now than I was then. My work ethic has improved, my courage has improved, my countless things have bettered in my life because of this job, because of what it's taught me. Punctuality. I was very punctual before as a student athlete, but even more so now, obviously, with work. But man, if you're in a similar situation that I was in, I would highly recommend looking into the trades. While not just mine specifically, but look into the trades. It is rewarding. Hands-on is much more rewarding than reading a book and writing a response to it. That's just me. And that's not to say I didn't enjoy that. You know, I liked, I guess, the administrative-esque style. I didn't mind it. I was pretty good in school. In university, I was doing well, and I just dropped out because of the money. So it's unfortunate, but that's what it is. But I definitely encourage you to, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling down, feel hopeless, look into the trades, man. It'll brighten your day up. It'll give you some hope, and it'll test you and get you to ask how badly you want a better life, you know, because it's all in your control. It's all in your control. However bad you want it, you'll get it. But if you don't want it bad enough, it's going to teach you right away you don't want it bad enough. And that's all I got to say. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this if you watched the whole way through. And I mean, if you want, you can subscribe. Don't expect you to. I'm going to try and, you know, here and there make some videos if you find my life interesting. We'll see. But I'll see the feedback I get, and then from that, then I'll choose if I want to start doing weekly videos or something, just updates, where I'm at, what I'm working on, what I've gotten into, all the above. You know, if that's something that interests you, let me know, and we can see what we can do. I'd definitely like to do that. I think it would be fun. Community is always a good thing, you know. And if anyone needs advice, that's something I love more than anything doing. I love helping people. So if people want advice, or if you have specific questions that you want me to cover in the next video, or anything at all, comment, hit me up, and we can talk, man. I'd love to. I love helping people. I love knowing what's going on, and you know, relating. I like to relate to people that have gone through the struggle or going through the struggle. So if you, please don't hesitate. I'd love to. Anyways, thanks a lot. Like I said, ciao. I'll see you later. I'll see you the next one. Ciao, guys. Bye.